Track 15, Unit 5, Lesson 5, Activity A. Listen and speak. Part 1. Now, Sam, I know that you're very interested in big, new ideas in science to produce enough food to feed the growing world population. But I also know that you're interested in all the many small things that all of us can do in our own personal daily lives to avoid waste and to help save precious resources. What advice can you give everyone watching this program?
Well, yes, saving precious resources, that's the important point. And the first thing for us all to remember is the 4 R's.
What are they?
Well, first of all, we need to reduce. Reduce the amount of resources that we use. We waste a huge amount in our daily lives. We buy things we only use once or twice, and we buy food that we don't eat. It's much better to buy less, to buy only the things we really need.
And save some money too.
Right. And the second R is this. If you buy something that you normally just use once and then throw into the rubbish, think. Can you use it again? Can you reuse it for something different?
I see. So, in other words, we should try to find more than one use for things. What about the third R?
Right. Thirdly, if something breaks, we shouldn't just throw it away. Again, we should try to repair it, and often it's quite easy to do that.
Right. And again, that helps the environment, and it also saves you money. And now, the fourth R.
Fourthly, and finally, we should recycle things which we can't reuse or repair. We still don't want to throw them in the rubbish. Instead, we should try to use the material they're made of to make something new.
So, there we have it. First of all, reduce as much as possible. Secondly, reuse things if we can. Thirdly, repair things when they break and don't just throw them away. And finally, recycle the material a product's made of if we can't do any of the other things.
That's it, exactly.
Part 2. Let's talk about 1 or 2 examples of things we can all do to reduce, and so on.
Sure, there are so many things we can do, and often very simple things. With reducing our use of precious resources, for example, we can remember to turn off the lights when we leave a room. Or again, you can store rainwater to water garden flowers and vegetables.
That seems very sensible. What about examples of reusing?
Well, for instance, keep old pots and cans and use them again to plant vegetables. And here's another example. Take an old ladder, put it flat, add some legs, and put some old bags between the steps. Suddenly, you've made a useful place for storing things. Children's toys, for example.
What a good idea! Have you got any good ideas for repairing things too?
Well, simply think of clothes, for instance. Replace buttons that are missing from old shirts. And to give another example, add new pieces to repair broken furniture. You can mend things such as old chairs and tables, for example.
Yes, those are good ideas if you're good with your hands. And finally, what about recycling?
There are all sorts of ideas. You can cut pieces from old clothes and put them together to make a beautiful bed cover, for instance. Again, you should always save glass jars and bottles to be taken away and turned into new bottles.